Welcome back to my garage, everybody. That's number 5. Number 5 what, you might be asking. Notice there's a large tow strap on the front of my truck. That's because this is the 5th time that the ACES fuel injection has just shut off while I'm driving. I thought I had it fixed. I thought downloading a new, it came back from ACES, and I downloaded a new software thing because the handheld said this data log was broke or something like that. I updated the ECU, I retuned it. I thought we got it fixed. It is actually running better than it ever has. Right up till about a mile away. And I drove it today. I drove it over to another town, probably 10 miles away, I guess. 10 miles back. And died a mile away from home. Just quit. Everything's still running. Gauges, RPM, fuel pumps still running. There's no ignition. So, I got to get it in my garage. It's an uphill battle. I can't pull it up here. You're going to see how I get it up here. I'll even bring you a little closer so you can see what's going on. Keep you out of the sun here so we don't get glare. All right. All right, this is a pretty monster tow strap. I don't remember what the weight spec is. 11,500 pounds single, doubled it's 2,300 pounds. I bought this at the swap meet for 10 bucks. That's probably the best purchase I've ever made. Got my Steglodon. It's a short shackle. I wish it was longer, but it works with this. For that, and we have a Steglodon winch cable on that too. So that's what we'll be using, is the Steglodon winch cable to pull ourselves back in here. So we're gonna have to unlock that. I'm actually gonna run this all the way out behind you, out my back door, and I have a brace I'm gonna put across the back door. You'll see it in a minute. Oh, the joys of having an ACES fuel injection system. All right, I got a 2x3 ACES, or 2x3 1/8 square tube. That's my brace for across the back door. All right, we have that brace across the back door. We're going to need the winch controller. I don't have one of those cool Bluetooth winch controllers, but I do have a cable that's long enough to reach inside the cab and let me steer it on in here. So I'm going to have to move you back so I don't run into you. And that is how you get an ACES powered truck back into your garage. We're going to test it out, and I'll show you some of that. We're going to stick the test probe in the coil and see if it's flashing like it should be, or It'd either be flashing is what we're supposed to see. No light at all as the coil driver is not firing at all. And it could be a solid light too. But I'm not sure if the solid light is a good or a bad thing. But we'll call ACES once we test and see what we see. And we'll see what they say. You never know. You know, it may be something else. I'm leaning pretty hard on the ACES because that was the only change we made, was making it control timing. Everything else has been the same. Not to say that something else didn't fail. But 5 times now it just turned off. Never did that before. I put 700 miles on it before this, and it never shut off on me. So then we did the timing control, and now it's shut down 5 times. Whoa, that radiator's hot. And it was 186 degrees, I think, the last time I looked at it a few minutes ago, just before it died. I'd like to get that to stay in there, if it will. Just lean right there, and let's turn the ignition on. We'll come out here and take a look, see if the light is on, and then we'll roll it over and see if it's flashing like it's supposed to be. There, now that's what we should see when it's not running. Can you see this? Can you see that red light right there? Right there where my finger's pointing? Get in here. That's what we should see. We should see that thing red. Now I'm going to roll it over. Tell me if it stays red. Or if it flashes like it's supposed to. All right, you don't have to say anything. It was rolling over and the light wasn't flashing. I saw one little brief, maybe flutter when it very first started to roll over, and then it just stayed red again. Now, I don't know if that would be this coil system, or if it's just staying red because it's not getting a pulsating signal, which would lead me to the distributor. So I'm going to test the distributor ohms and stuff for the wires, and I will get back to you on that. Well, you can watch me do it. Let's get a different test light though. This one won't work for that. All right, there's a mat so we don't mess everything up. Put that right there. All right, I don't know how much of this I'll be able to get you to see. We're gonna get in here and give her a try. I'll put some lights in here too. Now, truthfully, I've done this before. And I've looked at things trying to find what's wrong. And we're documenting, basically, is what we're doing right here with a freaking hot motor. I hate working on hot stuff. I mean, it's been probably 40 minutes now since it died on me. But as everybody knows in the automotive land, your engine stays warm a long time. There's fuel vapors rolling up through there, as you can see. Lots of fuel in there. That wasn't the problem. There's our distributor. Now you can look in the cap here and you can look at all the posts and see where that sucker is firing off of. And it's at the very bottom of those posts. I would have expected it to be a little bit higher, but that's a product of the rotor there. So let's pull the rotor off and look at that. All right, there's our rotor. You can see it's got a nice clean firing edge there, and little bitty dot there where it's touching in the center. Looks like it's got about 100 miles on it, which is about what it's got. All right, the advance is locked out, which is it's supposed to be. And all the reluctors are in place. I may see if I can get this motor to roll over just a little bit and I can measure the gap. I've done that once before. So if I measure it now and it's changed, well, that will indicate there's a problem. But I really don't think we're gonna find that. What we're gonna check here is this stuff. Wiring. Gonna see what we got. I'm on horseshoe mode. That's ohms. Let's check wire to wire. Maybe that's. I haven't checked these one of these in a long time. There we go. Measuring resistance. 0.625. All right, I'm gonna jump on the old interweb and see what that is supposed to be. I've been testing things here, and I want to show you something. To test a magnetic pickup distributor, you test for ohms, right? And then you can do that just by touching two wires. And you can also reach in there with a screwdriver and touch the little black stripe on your magnetic pickup in the distributor. And every time you touch that, if your ignition's on, you should see a flash in your test light, because that's just like it's triggering the coil to spark, right? And the ACES system, it sees that trigger and runs your fuel pump. That's when you start rolling over, you know, it sees that magnetic trigger, the reluctor wheel go by the magnetic pickup, and that signal is what triggers your fuel pump. So I'm sitting here testing for spark and I'm not seeing that flash, and I'm thinking, man, the magnetic pickup is bad in the distributor, brand new distributor. But anyway, that is not the case. The ACES ECU is seeing me touch the magnetic strip in there, and I'll show that to you. It turns on the fuel pump again and again as I touch that. So let's get in here close so you can see what we're doing. Let's see. There we go. You can see our test light. You can see the distributor. Let me turn the ignition on. And there you see the test light. It's lit. And you heard the fuel pump, and now the fuel pump is quit. So I'm going to bump the reluctor, or the magnetic pickup, with the screwdriver, and it should flash this light. But there's no flash. But listen, hear that? The ECU is seeing the signal, and it thinks that there's getting a magnetic, it's trying to start, and so it's turning on the fuel pump again. Right up until I said that. Well, now it's not doing it, but it was, and you did hear it the first time. The first time I touched it, it turned the fuel pump on. But we're not getting a flash here. And now I'm not getting the fuel pump on. I don't know. Oh, yep, there it goes. That is triggering. I'm making a signal just like the distributor was going around. And so that is the ECU is seeing that and turning on the fuel pump sometimes, and sometimes not. So I don't know what's wrong. Is it the pickup? Because I'm not getting a flash here. Let me turn off the ignition. You tell me. I'm not getting a flash at the test light on the coil, on the negative. So there obviously isn't a signal. Yet the ECU is seeing it when I touch that magnetic pickup. It's triggering the fuel pump to run. What do you think? I mean, it'll start once it's all cooled off again. I'll come back out here and I'll test things the same way, and I'll see what's up. But I'll be sending this to ACES. Let's see what they say. It's the next day, which is a good thing because that means it'll start again. But I want to test it the same way we were doing it yesterday when it wouldn't start, and see if there's anything that's changed, because that would indicate, of course, what the problem is. So I'm going to turn on the ignition, stuff this thing back in the coil negative side, see if the light comes on, touch the magnetic trigger in the distributor, see if it makes it blink, or if the fuel pump kicks back on, or whatever happens. We're just looking for something different because there's something wrong, and ACES didn't bother to actually check the ECU. They just bolted it on their C10 and said it's great when it's sitting there idling, which was fine. I mean, if that's how you test an electronic piece of equipment at ACES, then that's how they test them. But I like to use, meters and stuff, but I don't have any thing that can test that ECU. I don't know what its parameters are, or what its voltage settings are. I don't know nothing about the ECU other than you plug it in and it's supposed to make your car run. So let's just do the simple little tests we did here and see what it indicates. So I'm going to move you in closer so you can see what's going on. Turn the ignition on, get some lights under there, and go for it. I should light that up pretty good in there. Ignition is on. You can hear everything going there. Get my head in here. I got that creeper, but it just kind of in the way when you're doing this. Okay, there's there's our light. This should cause it to blink. Still no blinking. Kind of odd. Just seeing if I can get the fuel pump to kick on, but that's not happening either. Everything's plugged in. We're obviously reading voltage here. There, the fuel pump kicked on. Okay, the ECU is seeing the signal I'm pushing in. It is kicking the fuel pump on. You heard it there twice in a row. But I'm not getting any flash here. So this signal is being sent to the ECU, but the ECU is not triggering. There's no flash. That tells me the ECU is at fault. There should be a flash every time I stick this screwdriver in there. There, you heard the fuel pump again. So the ECU is seeing the signal from the distributor. It's kicking on the fuel pump, but it is not causing the light to flash, which it should. We should be seeing that signal, spark, 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 and it's not. Leads me to believe the ECU is bad. But it's going to fire up and run. So, but at some point, it's going to leave me stranded. Again. It's Sunday, so I'm not going to try to reach ACES today. But I will call them. Let's see what they have to say. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll want me to change, well, I can guarantee that they'll want me to change the pickup there in the distributor. It's this, and that'll hopefully fix something. But I need an answer from them why I'm not seeing a flash. That's what I'm looking for, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and put the distributor on it, the cap, start it up, stick my test light in there, see if I see flashing. And it may not. It may be spinning so fast that it just leaves the light on. You know, I certainly can't stick the screwdriver in there, in and out fast enough to do that, but that may happen. But let's find out. Let's do that. One more thing. I am certainly not against testing and learning and understanding to find out what is wrong. And whatever it is, I'm going to let you know. Because, my golly, if we all learned together, if we all tried to solve problems and make things better for everybody, man, what a great places to be. All right. Well, I'm going to open the garage door. Let me make a little noise, but then I'll just fire this up. It'll start. I'm fairly confident. I gotta pause this for a minute because I did another video not too long ago and I saw a fuel leak underneath the truck. So let me pause this. I'll be right back after I fix that fuel leak. Fixed fuel leak. We're ready to start it. Oh, and that's not the problem. That's not why it dies. It's still maintaining 50 pounds of pressure on this gauge right over there. And I have 2 fuel tanks, 2 fuel pumps. And I switch between them. And it dies regardless of which tank it's running off of. So, not the problem. Good try though. Now we should see a blinking light. Notice the light is solid. It should be blinking. Why, I don't know. Right now, the kill shot, can you see it in there? That's an awful lot of fuel spraying around in there. I haven't done anything to the cold start settings at all. So that's how it is. You can smell it loading up. We'll give it a little throttle, let it clear itself out, but that'll help. So now it'll run until it decides to just die. So that's my problem. That's where I'm at. It didn't test any different running or not, so I don't know what the situation is there. There you can hear the kill shot just slowed down a bit. It's one of those parameters, you know, like the DCT versus has changed, so now it's slowing down. It's not running very well right at the moment. Oh, let's see our fuel pressure. Flooding like you wouldn't believe again. Gosh dang, I hate this system. That really is a tuning issue, but nothing I've done on the tune. I tuned it, but I did not tune the cold start or the decay or any of those items, the idle items. So that, you know, other than setting that I didn't want it to idle super rich. The idle's supposed to be like 14 or 13.8 or somewhere right in that. But wow, if you don't touch some throttle occasionally, this Killshot does not know what it's doing. So I'll work on that. I'll try to post some of that as I get it figured out. Well, you can hear the IAC change and it's flooding again. Why it wants to idle so high all the time, I don't know about that either. I did adjust, you know, idle speed by temperature. So when it comes up to temperature, it shouldn't be doing that. And it takes forever to decay off, and now it sounds good. And we're not seeing fuel spraying out all over, but boy, does that seem to be a random thing. Yeah. There we go. There's now fuel coming out the top. Why the hell? It was down to like 700 RPM, 750. It's set at 850. I don't know. What's up, ACES? Let me know. Hey everybody, before I let you go, I wanted to tell you that this truck is a 1946 Ford, but nothing else other than the sheet metal, the frame, and things like steering wheel and brake pads for the pedal and stuff. That's all old, but it's a modern V8, modern automatic transmission, modern fuel system using beer kegs, I might add, and brand new wiring throughout this truck. This is a ground off restoration, and I've done them before. This isn't my first one. So I didn't want people thinking, oh shit, it's 46 Ford wiring. No wonder the dang thing is dying on him. But that's not the case, because this truck ran with carburetors and a dual quad tunnel ram for about 500 miles with no issues with the ignition shutting off at all. But if you guys have the answer, man, let me know. I'll post it. We can all benefit from it, and we'll all be happier. ACES included, I'm sure. So Let me know if you got any ideas, and hopefully ACES can help me out too. Other than that, you all have fun and be good to each other. I'll see you later.